So those are 6 5/16 screws. So far I've had to use a Phillips head to take off the little guards there, the intake, and then a 1/2 inch for that nut up in the front, and then these were 7/16. So those are the sizes that you needed. And of course I'm going to zip these right off. There's no sense in running the camera. But I did pull off that one tube right there. So I keep them pretty much in the order that I took them out. That one there came from this one corner. Let's pull it up and see. Yeah, it's pretty whooped. That's actually amazing it does anything. But remember, when you do this, take a look at the rotation. It has to go in clockwise. Now there is one thing you do have to pay attention to, and that's the orientation of the key in the slot on the inside of the impeller. Because you got to remember, it's going to push it this way. So the raised, or the section that's going to be driven, has to be, well, on the driven side. You see it? So I got to make sure that's the same, and it is. And then orient the key so that it actually drives the impeller. So it pretty much went right up in there. The two little pop points are that black tube that goes around the drive shaft. And then the spline, so I just rotated the flywheel a little bit to get the splines to line up, and now we're back to this. Slid that retainer nut up. I'll put that little piece of plastic on there, put it back together, then tighten things right up, and we'll go test it, see if it pumps. Much cooler. Alright, let's turn downriver. It's really shallow all around through here, so you gotta be kind of careful. But I pretty much ran at full throttle all the way up, and it's several degrees cooler than it was last time. Yeah, there's definitely hope for this saw now. And what's the difference? It has a completely different carburetor. It has a carburetor from a Husqvarna Original Edition 372, a Walbro HD. That's what it has. It's a little goofy because I had to use a choke lever from the Husqvarna. So I'll have to do something there. But the original OEM carburetor on this thing was the source of its problems. So now we can start developing it yet again. Well, there's hope for this saw yet. I talked to a couple of people who really know these. Thank you, Steve, you know who you are, and Greg, you know who you are. And what I did was I ejected this thing right here. This was the OEM carburetor. It's a Zama. And it now has a Walbro HD from an original edition 372. I figured I'd just stick one in there and just see what happens. And I literally put it in, did absolutely nothing, no tuning or anything. And now it idles and starts, and it's got decent RPMs and everything. It's just a completely different saw. So, and to do that, the only thing I needed to do was get this T27, take these two out, pop it out, and then in through here, the carb screws are accessible. They're also T27s. And there's that little plastic piece that sits on the throttle side. It popped right off of this one, popped right onto the HD. And this went to the pulse line, this went to the fuel line. They have this thing right here, and I have no idea. That's what they're pulsing from. I wonder if that's their issue. But either way, the difference is night and day. Let me see if I can get a little bit of runtime before it goes dark on me. We'll do a much more in-depth video. I had to blend a choke lever from a Husky. Yeah. But let's see if we can get it to fire. See if it either makes me a liar or makes me happy. I've got a couple of junk logs right here that we can work on. Get my helmet on because it's kind of loud. Let's see if it'll start again. that's just so huge. That is such a big difference from where it was before. Especially these restarts, you know. Yeah, we can start developing it again, I believe. Make this a short video. I did a lot of cutting with it today. So the other thing that's happening is I believe it's breaking in some. But there's your update. We now have a chainsaw. So this boat's back in play. Ripped out part of the floor. Comes out pretty easy. I put the rug back down because we got rain coming. I want to cover it up. But you see how you got the stringers right there, aluminum, and the floor screws right into that aluminum tab. Right down the middle, you can see where the holes are. So I'm going to trim this back, trim it right there, back, so it sets down on the stringers. And then I'm going to rivet it to that, and then put a 2x6 across the back here, stiffen up the transom quite a bit, and then we're going to put a jack plate on it. This thing right over here. Then we're going to hang some horsepower on it. I did the transom a while back, so there's part of the floor. And the other thing, we're getting rid of this stupid, getting some trim, rubbing boat. But this is the answer. I was kind of nervous about how this was going to play, but I can see where I can, like I said, just trim it right back, sell it right down to the stringers, and rivet that thing right on there. And that gets me the stiffness I need to where I can put some horsepower on it.